Hello students and welcome to the library. Today we are going to be talking about copyright rules. So what is copyright? According to copyright.gov, copyright is a type of intellectual property that protects original works of authorship as soon as an author fixes the work in a tangible form of expression. So in layman terms, copyright is the protection of an author's work. There are many layers to the copyright rules, and today we're going to be talking about a few. So an example that you could use for copyright is like, say you write a novel or you write a song and it's put out into the world and published, people can't use it without your permission. So that's copyright. I don't know if you guys watch YouTube, but oftentimes when people can't play a full song on YouTube because it will get struck down for copyright infringement because that's not their music that they're playing, and these people are on YouTube just doing other things. They're promoting themselves. So that's an example of copyright. Okay, so the Technology, Education, and Copyright Harmonization Act, also known as the TEACH Act, was passed by Congress in 2002 and allows for teachers to use limited online resources for teaching without fear of copyright infringement. So this gives teachers, us librarians, more leeway in the resources we can give you that you can use without worrying about copyright infringement. So fair use is the idea that people can use an author's work for transformative reasons such as criticism, teaching, and researching without asking for permission from the author. So that's like when you do a research paper and you quote a part of the essay or the article, but you you don't have to go and ask whoever wrote that for permission. You can just cite it. So of course, like I just said, these resources, although they may fall under fair use, you still have to properly cite your work in order to avoid plagiarism. But you just have to cite it, but you don't have to go and ask for that person's permission. So that's fair use. So with the TEACH Act, the materials must meet certain conditions in a distance learning environment. So those conditions are: the materials are an integral part of the instruction, the materials directly related to the content of the lesson, the materials only for students who are enrolled in the specific class, the teacher lets the students know that online materials may be subjected to copyright infringement. So there are certain things online that you can't use without asking for permission because they will be copyrighted. So restrictions with distance learning. There are specific restrictions with distance learning that must be met. So there is a limit on the use of materials. With distance learning, students can only have the resources for a certain amount of time. So say we had to go remote again and I had these online materials. We could only use them for a year, and then after that the copyright would be back in place. So we wouldn't be able to use those anymore. And so then teachers cannot share textbooks or other materials that are provided by students. So say you had a textbook from another class that you thought might help with our lesson, or was like valuable information. Technically, I could not share that information with the other students because it was provided by a student, and that's copyright. So I found this great table on a college website, and I'll share that college website with you in a moment, but it had really good information. And so it had the medium of how it was the resources being presented, the specifics, what you can do, and the fine print. So for printed materials of different poems, articles, excerpts, and these ones are like different lengths, so you want to look at that. And what you can do, incorporate text into a multimedia project. So say you're using a poem, say you want to use a poem less than 250 words. You want to use an excerpt from a poem less than 250 words. You could do that and put it into your project, but copy text must be properly cited. So like I said before about the plagiarism, you want to make sure you cite your text properly in order to avoid that. And then text for use of multimedia projects is the same limits as printed materials, and students may incorporate text in multimedia projects as well, and students may add it to their portfolio and keep it for life. Copy text must be properly cited, just like before. Okay, illustrations and photographs. Single works may be used in their entirety, but not more than 5 images by an artist or photographer from a collection. So not more than 10% or 15 images, whichever is less. So that makes sense. So you can't use their whole collection, but you can use a few without worrying about copyright. Although older illustrations may be in the public domain and don't need permission to be used, sometimes they're part of a copyright collection. So that's why sometimes you do have to double check and look, because like this one, they might be part of a copyright collection, so you'll have to make sure they're not. So video, motion media for use in multimedia or video projects. So videotapes, DVD, Laserdisc, QuickTime movies, multimedia encyclopedias, video clips from the internet. Students may use portions of lawfully acquired copyrighted works in their academic multimedia defined as 10% or 3 minutes, whichever is less of motion media. So like if you wanted to play a movie or a clip of a movie for a presentation, you could only play 10% of that movie. So if you had like a 10-minute presentation and the video is like 50 minutes long, then you could only no, say the video's 10 minutes long, then you could only play 10% of that. And so that's like 3 minutes, maybe less. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, but yeah, so you can only play a certain amount, and it has to be very small. So the material must be legitimately acquired. Proper attribution and credit must be given for all copyrighted works included in multimedia, including those that fall under fair use. So even if it falls under fair use and you don't have to ask for permission, you still need to cite it properly again. So music for integration into multimedia or audio-video projects. Records, cassette tapes, CDs, audio clips on the web. So up to 10% of a copyrighted musical composition may be reproduced, performed, and displayed as part of a multimedia program. So it's like the same thing that we said for like a DVD or a movie. You can only play 10% of the song without it being considered copyright infringement. So a maximum of 30 seconds per musical composition may be used. Alterations to a musical work should not change the basic melody or the fundamental character of the work. Okay, so actually for this one, for like a song, if you're going to play a song, you could only use 30 seconds before it was considered copyright. And so like on YouTube, that's a lot of the time people will play like a minute of a song, and then they'll get a copyright strike, and the video will be taken down because it's not theirs. Okay, so the internet connections and the World Wide Web. So images may be downloaded for student projects. Sound files may be downloaded for use in projects. Resources from the web may not be reposted onto the internet without permission. Links to legitimate resources can be posted. Any resources downloaded must be legitimately acquired by the website. See, so you can't just take a picture off the internet and then repost it onto something else and be like, oh yeah, this is my picture, because that's plagiarism, first of all, and then that's also copyright infringement. And these are just guidelines to go by. Okay, and then here are my references, and we can go to the link and we can look at it's Skyline College, and they have quite a bit of information about fair use that I would recommend you check out. So it says, even if students are not required to distribute their work via the internet, it is imperative that instructors guide their students in understanding the complex world of copyright and fair use, given the increasingly dynamic and participatory information landscape of the 21st century. So, in general, students may incorporate portions of lawfully acquired copyright works when producing their own educational multimedia projects for a specific course. Students may perform and display their own projects and use them in their portfolios, or use their projects for job interviews or as supporting materials for applications to graduate schools. The following chart is designed to inform students on how they may use a particular work and how much of a work may be used in their project. And then here's the table that I just showed you. And so that's copyright, and we're going to be doing a lesson on it soon, and then we're going to have an open-ended response question. So thank you for your time.